at Tiruchirappalli, at Mangalore, and at Coimbatore. These airports have all the infrastructure to receive international flights. In fact, some flights are already operating. Immigration, customs facilities have been provided. By declaring them as international airports, we expect that there will be more international traffic and more international flights flying into and flying out of these airports. "200 square meters of land at Farakka is being transferred to the government of West Bengal to be subsequently handed over to the government of Jharkhand for construction of a sump house and residential facility at Pakur town to be constructed by the Nagar Panchayat Pakur. Now, this comes to the cabinet because no government land can be transferred without cabinet approval. Cabinet has approved the revision of rates of risk allowance, hospital patient care allowance, and patient care allowance payable to about 2 lakh entitled central government employees. This will mean that the existing rates will be doubled. The proposed revision in the rates of risk allowance, hospital patient care allowance, and patient care allowance will provide succor to the employees at risk due to the nature of their duties. Now, the alternatives that were thought of, risk insurance schemes and packages, did not work out, and doubling the allowances while meeting the requirements of those exposed to risk is also expected to result in financial savings compared to the alternative schemes that were being looked at. The financial implication of doubling the allowances would be rupees 42.16 crore per annum. And whenever the dearness allowance is increased by 50%, the allowances that I mentioned above, risk allowance, patient care allowance, and hospital patient care allowance, will be automatically increased by 25%. Cabinet approved the constitution of the 20th Law Commission for a period of 3 years from 1/9/2012 to 31/8/2015. It will have a full-time chairperson, 4 full-time members, including the member secretary, 5 part-time members, and 2 ex officio members. The Law Commission is a non-statutory body. It was originally constituted in 1955 and is reconstituted every 3 years. The last reconstitution was in 2009. That ended on 31st August 2012. Cabinet approved the ratification of the Nagoya Protocol on access and benefit sharing by India. The Nagoya Protocol, as you know, has been signed by 92 countries. India signed it on the 11th of May 2011. Under this protocol, there is access and there's benefit sharing, both monetary and non-monetary. We have decided to ratify the protocol that we signed on the 11th of May. It's an important decisive step because, as you know, India is the incoming president of COP11, COP11. COP11 begins on October 8th, and therefore we have ratified it today, and this will be seen as an important step by the rest of the world. India is one of the identified mega diverse countries rich in biodiversity. India accounts for 7 to 8% of the recorded species of the world. India is also rich in associated traditional medicines, knowledge, including medicines such as Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, etc. There also exists in India a very rich oral, undocumented tradition. The genetic resources and associated traditional knowledge can be used to develop a wide range of products and services benefiting humankind, such as medicines, agricultural practices, cosmetics, etc. Much of the world's biodiversity is found in developing countries. Therefore, our signing the Protocol on Access and Benefit Sharing is expected to bring us rich dividends and rewards. India has been a victim of misappropriation or biopiracy of our genetic resources and associated knowledge. Signing the protocol means that a key missing pillar will be now in place. There is a more detailed press note, you can refer to that. Cabinet approved the official amendments to the Insurance Laws Amendment Bill 2008. This bill was introduced in 2008. It was referred to the Standing Committee. The Standing Committee has made a number of recommendations. We have accepted those recommendations and the official amendments are being moved. I must, however, point out that in one recommendation, the Standing Committee recommended that we retain the FDI cap as 26%. We think that the FDI cap should be raised to 49%. You heard the IRDA chairman's statement over the last 2 days, where the regulator, the IRDA, has categorically stated that insurance requires huge capital, and that capital will only come if we are able to raise the FDI limit to 49%. He's strongly supported increasing the FDI limit to 49%. I have already included the insurance bill in the list handed over by me to the two leaders of the opposition. I've asked them to consult with their colleagues and support the bill. We will continue to engage all political parties in Parliament to get this bill passed. The bulk of the official amendments reflect the Standing Committee's recommendations, which have been accepted by the government. There is a detailed press note on the official amendments, and I suggest you read the press note, because there are a number of official amendments being made, but I thought I should specifically mention the amendment relating to FDI in insurance. However, I may make it clear that the public sector insurance companies will adopt the policy of the government, and they will remain public sector insurance companies. The benefit of this amendment will go to the private sector insurance companies, where there is a private sector Indian player and a private sector investor, and they require a huge amount of capital, and that capital will be facilitated by the increase in the FDI limit from 26% to 49%, subject, of course, to Parliament approving the same. Cabinet also approved the official amendments to the Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority Bill. There were 5 key recommendations made by the Standing Committee. All 5 have been accepted, so we hope that this bill also will be passed in the ensuing session of Parliament. There is a detailed press note which lists these amendments, and I request that you refer to the detailed press note. FDI limit in pension will follow the FDI limit in insurance. Whatever the insurance bills ultimately says will be the FDI limit for the pension bill also. If the insurance bill passes with 49%, the pension also will be 49%. On what?
On assured return.
No. There is an amendment dealing with minimum assured returns, and an amendment has been made where one scheme will provide a minimum assured return. So I suggest you read the detailed press note. What?
Is it the FDI scheme or the foreign investment scheme? Is it FDI plus FII? Are there separate caps for them?
No, this is the foreign equity cap. This is the foreign equity cap, is 49%.
Is FDI plus FII also?
Cabinet also approved the proposed amendments to the Competition Act. Now, the Competition Act has been in the making for quite some time. It was referred to a group of ministers, and then it has now come back. We are introducing the amendments to the Competition Act. The basic structure of the Competition Act remains. Some crucial amendments are being made with particular reference to the jurisdiction of sectoral regulators on competition-related issues. Under the amendment, no sector is exempt from the Competition Act. All sectors will be within the jurisdiction of the Competition Commission insofar as anti-competitive practices are concerned. But the Act enables exemption to certain specific cases. For example, merger of two banks, where one bank is a failing bank, and the RBI as a regulator says that this bank has to be saved, and therefore there's an involuntary amalgamation of that bank with another bank. Now, that can be exempted from the Competition Commission. Similarly, in some sectors, during the infancy period, during the nascent period when the sector is growing, for a period of time, exemption can be granted from the Competition Commission. There is already a provision of the Competition Act for granting exemption. That provision remains, but the broad principle is all sectors are now within the jurisdiction of the Competition Commission. They may have independent sectoral regulators. The sectoral regulators will regulate on all other aspects, but in respect of anti-competitive practices and applying the principle of competition, the Competition Commission will have jurisdiction over all sectors.
Coming back to banking.
No, we can't go back now. It's already, I've got to cover a lot of ground. And anyway, banking was not on the agenda today. Next is the Companies Bill. We have approved the amendments to the Companies Bill. This again has been in the making for quite some time. The new Companies Bill was introduced in 2011. It replaces the 1956 Companies Act. It's a very elaborate exercise, and I suggest that you read the press note. It's a very important bill. It's a bill designed for the 21st century. It's a bill that takes note of the explosion in the numbers of companies in India and their reach and range. Therefore, the old bill is outdated. So we have now got a new Companies Bill. We sincerely hope that this will find its way to passage as early as possible. Official amendments are being moved as approved by Cabinet to the Forward Contracts Regulation Amendment Bill. The Forward Market Commission, which is a regulator, will get autonomy and power to regulate the market effectively. New products like options will be allowed in the commodity market. This will benefit various stakeholders, including farmers, to take benefit of price discovery and price risk management. The bill will enhance public accountability of the regulator because we're providing for an appellate authority against the decisions of the regulator. This went to the Standing Committee. Standing Committee made a number of recommendations. These recommendations have been by and large accepted, and official amendments will be introduced to reflect these decisions. Cabinet approved the amendments to the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. The Wildlife Protection Act 1972 provides the legal framework for the protection of various species of wild animals, management of their habitat, and also for regulation and control of trade in the products derived from wild animals. The Act has been amended from time to time, but a need was felt to amend the Act further to reflect the current requirements. As you're aware, we have to bring our acts in conformity with the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, what is called CITES, C-I-T-E-S. Ministry of Panchayat Raj had some suggestions. They have been incorporated. The Gram Sabha and the Gram Panchayat in scheduled areas will be involved in the administration of the Act. The amendments proposed to define Gram Sabha, Panchayat, and scheduled area, and they provide for consultation with the Gram Sabha whenever an area is to be declared as a sanctuary. Consultation with Gram Sabha is mandatory. Representatives of Panchayat or tribal community have been included in the Community Reserve Management Committee. I think it's a progressive step that will ensure greater protection for wildlife, better management of habitats and sanctuaries, and a role for the Gram Sabha in the declaration and management of habitats and sanctuaries. Cabinet approved the amendments to the Employment Exchanges Compulsory Notification of Vacancies Act. Now, this act has been observed more in the breach than in the observance. The act is being renamed. The employment exchanges are being renamed as Employment Guidance and Promotion Centers. The focus now will be on vocational guidance and career counseling, apart from registration, submission, and placement.